fine detail brushes, but cheap, and how well do they work? Let's give them a try by painting a flower. Let's get started. Okay, so fine detail brushes, 10 in a pack, and apparently these can be used for a variety of different occupations, such as fine detailing, acrylic painting, nail painting, modelling, also, of course, watercolour and other mediums as well. Just to name a few, I'm sure. But these are synthetic brushes, and they've actually got like a triangle handle on them, as you can see. It's supposed to give you a better grip. We'll find that out in a bit when I start using these. Now, these are from a company called artgoldenmaple.com. Have a look at their website for Golden Maple. So hashtag Golden Maple Art or at Golden Maple Art, whichever one you want to use. Now, if you want to have a look at these as well on their website, have a look at the description down below. I've got some links down there for you, plus also a 20% discount as well. Have a look at the code which I've provided in that links. These are extremely cheap to buy. I know, £13 in UK money, that's all they are. And I think US at the moment about $17, something like that. So what are they? Well, as I mentioned, these are synthetic brushes. And what we've actually got a double crimp on these as well, as you can see. I'm going to take one of these out actually. Should we take them out? So they count the size 8. So basically what it's got is a double crimp around the metal ferrule there, which apparently will help to stop it losing those hairs. Again, we'll find that out very shortly. The ferrules are copper, okay, but are also chrome plated as well. And as I mentioned, it's got this little triangle handle there, look, which will be quite interesting. I'm a lefty, by the way, as you can probably tell. Quite interesting to try out and see how well they perform. And the sizes within their range here for £13. Still can't get over the price, I know. £13 for a set of detail brushes. Oh, yeah, but how good are they? And these go from a range of size 8, quite a large brush for me anyway, all the way down to a size 5-0. Now my normal brush is a size 2-0 for the work I do. However, when I'm looking at the detail one here for the 2-0 and compare it to the one I normally use, you can see my 2-0 brush, which is the Winsor & Newton Cotman Series 111, is a little bit slimmer compared to this one. But they are similar size, aren't they? Very similar compared to the 3-0, which is down there, even smaller. So it's not far away. This is more, to me, of a size 0 in their range, my 0-0, as you can see there. Okay? So bear that in mind when you're kind of looking at these. But as I mentioned, if you do go to the artgoldenmaple.com for their website, have a look around. They've got some very affordable brushes there, and also quite a variety of ranges as well, which is quite interesting. Now, the name on this one is W-Lot, but you will find on the American version it's got a different name on there. It's got Maple or something like that on there. So a little bit different. This is just the UK or the European version of these. The weight of these brushes, they feel actually quite sturdy, even though they're very light as well. You know, I've got quite large hands, as you can see, obviously, but they do feel fairly sturdy. And bearing in mind that I'm not paid by the company, okay, they've just sent me some free brushes to give a try for you on camera. Okay, well that's had a 30-second wash, thereabouts. And basically what we've done, we've got a nice, clean, flexible bristle. The good thing about using synthetic bristles is that you can get a nice point on them, I find. And also the snap rate is really good. So if I just bring that back with my finger there, look, you find it snaps back really, really quickly. And that's the kind of brush I like. I find from using Sable, which I do occasionally, you don't get the snap as well as this. But that's because it's synthetic and it's really, really good, not natural hair. So it's obviously good for the environment and for the planet as well. But let's give these brushes a try by doing a little painting, as I said, of a cranesbill flower. Okay, let's make a start. The paper itself is Bockingford £140, which is cold pressed and of a medium texture, so quite nice to work on actually. And the photograph just there is one by a lady called Mabel Amber, who's on Pixabay. Thank you, Mabel. I'll put a little link down below for you in the description. It's that way around. If you want to paint it, you can download that photo. And this is a cranesbill, which is quite nice to work with. Once I've got the outline drawing onto the paper, make sure the drawing's not too dark, because if it is, what will happen, get out of the way you, what will happen is that the pencil lines will show up around the edge. So I just use a putty eraser, which I've just got here, look, and then I'll just very lightly, just soften those extreme edges a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, let's start off with a size 8. And we'll see how this one works. It's got a lovely point on this one actually, hasn't it? You can just see that there, look. Very nice point. Slightly curved over at the end like that. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how well this works and performs. So let's get some clean water. All right, we'll make a start. Let's do this one actually, shall we? So keep it nice and tight. I want to go around the centre of the flower, just to make sure I don't go in there. You can use masking fluid as well if you wanted to. The idea of this video, one, is to test out these brushes obviously and see how well they perform. Got a nice grip actually, I know I said it earlier on, but it does feel nice in your hand. And the other reason is because I fancy just doing the painting. I know, why not? So dampen the paper down and allow the water to soak into the paper a little bit. It does seem to be holding the water really well in there. Even though this is quite a large brush for me, I know, size 8. Okay, allow that water to soak into the paper. And then we can drop some colour in there. You ready? Let's do it. Okay, let's go for our mixture, as you know, of the mauve and the opera rose. And we'll just drop this straight in. Look at that. Ooh, I love it. Drop it straight onto the paper. I have to say, I've got quite a lot of control with this brush, even though it's quite a large size. And that can come down to about there. Tap some of that paint off the brush, and then that will naturally fade as it picks up that water. I'm going to add a few little extra marks and tucks and nicks around the edge of this, just by touching it with the very tip, the very fine tip of this brush, just to vary the edge of this. I don't want it looking too neat. You want to do this before it dries as well, because once it starts to dry, it's difficult to kind of pull the paint out without making it look as if it's disjointed. Okay, a little bit around there as well, not too much, just small little marks here and there. Okay, I'm going to pull some paint off here, just a little bit of paint off there. Rinse your brush out, and then we're going to go into our lovely kind of purpley blue colour. Then we'll drop this one in. Add this down just to the centre of there. Now we know we've got green down there, so I might just pull some of that off actually saying that. Drag some of this up into our lovely rich colour there, like so. And allow that to blend naturally, because it will. It'll just blend. Because it's so damp on that paper now. Okay, so lift some of that paint off there, nearly dry brush, and then just very lightly lift and lift again. There you go. Clean brush into the green, and we'll drop the green in now. Lower down, probably right down to the base. Why not? Got to be careful that side because that's another petal there, isn't it? We'll switch to the size 0, which is this one here. It's a 0, isn't it? Yeah, size 0. Just going to neaten up these edges now a little bit more. So little dips as you come around. Every now and then, just dip it in, come back up again, and then back down again. Don't want anything looking sharp around the edge. Just want it looking as if it's kind of undulating gradually as it comes around there. Around there. And I want this to dry. Now whilst this is drying, I'm going to carry on and work on the other ones the same way. little bit of green down there. I love working with wet and wet washes as well, really, really nice. I found that this brush is working really well so far. I'm quite impressed for a synthetic brush as well. As you can see, it's maintaining that point so far as well. Considering every now and then I'm drying the brush off like that, some kitchen roll in my hand, to lift off a little bit of paint here and there. So I'm adding water into the bristles, taking water out. I just drag him through and just pulling it around, pushing it around, and see what it does. But so far I'm impressed. But we'll find out by the end of the painting, won't we? We certainly will. So all I'm doing is varying these colours, as you can see here. So let's go in for our darkest colour, which is that Mauve, Indigo and Opera Rose. Using our size 0 brush. Don't overload it, don't have too much paint on that brush. So load it like that, roll it, pull away, then give it a tap on some kitchen roll, just taking the residual paint off. Then what we can do, we can start to draw some lines within this petal. So this is on the damp paper as I mentioned. And because it's damp, you find that the line will start to fade around the edges. So it will soften, which is really, really nice. Now obviously the smaller the brush, the less paint you'll be able to load on it. So you have to remember that when you're working with small brushes, and not just this one, but I find that with my Winsor & Newton brushes, which I use as well. You know that obviously you can't overload it with paint. Okay, and then you can add thinner ones here and there as well. And the thing is, if it's not dark enough or thick enough, you can go back over the same line again. Give that a tap, actually, that's better. Okay, so run it over that same line just to darken it a little bit. Look at the directions all these lines go in as well. Start to map it out. So all I mean by doing that, by very lightly just going over the areas that you think the lines go in. I say think. I do think sometimes, you know. And then draw those lines on. Now depending on the consistency of the paint, this is nearly creamy, just about creamy. Will depend on how well that paint spreads. You can't blame the brush if it doesn't spread far enough. Apart from obviously the water holding properties within the bristles here. So let's have a quick look around there. So then we got one or two just hooking across like that. And then comes back down. A few more in between. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as a photograph, of course not. As long as it's similar. Take your time. Don't rush it. And enjoy the process. I'm going to bring that one over there now. I made a bit of a happy accident down there, didn't I? So let's make the most of it, shall we? Now, if the paper dries while you're doing this, carry on, doesn't matter. Because we can very lightly soften over the top with a damp, clean brush. Just to kind of bring it back. Just to diffuse it slightly, that's all we need to do. Right, let's carry on and get some more of these on the paper now. How would you like to learn how to paint realistic looking wildlife in watercolour? We go through a variety of subjects from dogs, cats, insects and even botanical subjects as well. And I'll guide you through this right from the beginning all the way through to the end for those final brushstrokes. Now every month we produce a PDF version, so a typed out version with photographs of that monthly main video. Why don't you pop along to my Patreon channel, which is patreon.com/The Devon Artist. Look for the link in the description down below. Join up and let's paint wildlife in watercolour together, and let's get them brushes wet. Now the other thing I like about this brush, because it's got the triangle handle, yes, it's comfortable to hold, but also it doesn't roll. Because I normally work on a bit of an angle like that for my board, because I find it more comfortable. This is nice and flat today. So when I'm working with, where's my size 00, my normal one, this will just roll backward and forward, as you can see, like that. But this just doesn't go anywhere. So ideal for that. Yes, it might slide down the board a little bit, but it's not going to roll down the board like so. And that's the beauty about these brushes. Now, clean water, well, my water's nearly clean. I'm going to go over the areas which haven't blurred, haven't blended, just a little bit, just to soften those down a fraction. Now, this paint will move a little bit, so be careful not to be too vigorous with it. Be very gentle when you're doing this. Now, just soften those lines, just diffuse those lines a fraction. That's all I want it to do. I don't want to blur this into all this lovely colour underneath too much. Maybe a little bit, but not too much. Go over those lines with a damp, clean brush, not soaking wet, remember. Remember what you do, you load it with water, you dry it for some kitchen roll like that, just the once. Then that's just about enough water on the brush. Now for the central area, just lift off a little bit of paint with a damp clean brush around these areas here. Just paint those in very lightly. We're not after super detail, not today. I do like to go very, very detailed normally, but today, just going a little bit looser. Yeah, okay. But you know what I mean though. If you've seen my paintings, you know exactly what I'm on about. So quick look around there. Remember with these brushes, as I did say, that at the moment you get 20% discount. 20%. Either if you go to their website, as I mentioned about the Art Golden Maple, or through Amazon for both the UK and the US. Both links are down below for you. Okay, so if you fancy giving them a try and see what you think about these brushes, it's not just me, then let me know, because they're not expensive, as I said, they're very, very cheap. So, inexpensive. I'll say inexpensive. Okay, alizarin crimson. I'm going to pop some of this in there now. Just in the main central area. I'll fill it in. Let it dry. And then touch it up. Give it a little bit of a tidy. Maybe even lift off a little bit of paint here and there as well. It's too dark. So that's far too rich, isn't it? So let's go for a little bit of purple, shall we? And just go around the edge of that. Just to change the colour a little bit. Damp clean brush, lift off a little bit of paint. Right, let's get the rest of this done now. From here on, all you need to do is mix up 2 different greens. So go for lemon yellow and indigo, and also another mix of lemon yellow, indigo, and phthalo blue. So that will give you the lighter green and then also the darker green. Just go straight onto paper with your milky consistency paint. Right, let's go for it and paint that stem and that little bud. take your time when you're adding these fine lines and use the very tip of the brush, and also remember not to overload that brush. So load it, roll it, give it a tap on some kitchen roll, and then go to the painting. So basically 2 hairs and air, that is it. So really light, and that way you can get the finest of marks. A little bit of alizarin crimson and some opera rose. Opera, can I say opera rose? A little bit more. Okay, we'll pop this one in here. Look how bright that is. Oh, it's really bright, I know, really bright. Also think about how round it is as well. So it's nearly a round tip on that, slightly pointy. Very slightly pointy. Get a little bit of the purple, I think, in there. Around the edges. Just to blend it slightly. Well, that is bright, isn't it? Very bright. Oh. Now, what do I think about these brushes? I like them. I honestly do like them. I know they're not expensive. I'd say they're very cheap. So because of that, yeah, they're worth the money. They really are worth the money. And as I said, not paid by the company or anything like that. This is just a true, honest test, which is what I'm working on now for you, to let you know what I think about them. Okay. Have a look at the links down below, as I mentioned before, for your 20% discount, be it for Amazon or directly from their website. Remember, artgoldenmaple.com. And you can find them if you type in hashtag Golden Maple Art or at Golden Maple Art. Either one will work fine as well. Well, as you can see, these brushes have held out really well, haven't they? And I mean really well. Consider I've added a reasonable amount of detail on there. You can see that this brush has still maintained its tip, nice and sharp there, slightly kind of bowed over a little bit. But to be honest with you, I'm really happy with that. And I'm also very surprised at a very inexpensive brush and how well they work. So remember, this pack, just out of information again, comes in a set of 10. Okay, from a size 8, which is this beastie boy there, okay, or beastie girl, all the way down to a 5-0, which is just that one there, look. Okay, 5-0. So really nice. And I'm quite impressed with them. So I do hope that you're impressed with these brushes, because I know I am. I really am. And I think they're working really well. Especially for something so, inexpensive. Dare I say cheap? Inexpensive sounds better, doesn't it? Now, if there's brushes out there that you use which don't cost the earth, only cost a few pennies or a few bucks, add a comment down below for me so I know which ones they are, okay? Now, if you fancy learning how to paint detail in watercolour, I'm going to pop a little link to the right hand side of the screen for you right this minute there. And, well, hopefully I'll see you there.